With Mr. Kanoria, how have you read into these overall measures announced by the government in order to curb, the current account deficit and, of course, in turn, the currency? Do you believe that they are effective in nature?
It could be to a certain extent, but I think that what is more important is to see that how we can start getting a lot of investments coming through FDI, because that would be long-term funding and long-term foreign exchange which will be coming into the country. Because what has happened is that a lot of investments have been coming to the stock market through the FII routes and all, and also in the stock market, but not very many investments have come into sectors of manufacturing or infrastructure in the last couple of years in large measures. So I think that we'll have to see that how the government is in a position to come out with some guidelines where they encourage people to come and make investments in large measures in India in infrastructure and in the manufacturing sector, which will be long-term, stable investments which are coming in and will give the stability to the foreign exchange also of the country.
Hemant, morning. Wanted to understand how the exemption from withholding tax of issuance of masala bonds will be done in FY19. How positive do you think this is, and will this really reduce masala bonds' cost of borrowing by, say, 40 to 50 bips?
So definitely it will, because you see the withholding tax has been one of the points which has been highlighted, not only for the masala bonds but for ECB borrowings also, and especially in the last few years since the withholding tax has been imposed, it has also made the cost of borrowing higher for the ECBs, which institutions, finance companies or infrastructure companies have been borrowing. And that has also discouraged them from bringing in loans from overseas, but to basically resort to domestic borrowing. So I think that definitely this is a step in the right direction. For ECBs also, the withholding tax, I think that should be waived off, and that will also encourage ECBs to come in larger measures.
Mr. Kanoria, one of the measures that have been announced is the mandatory hedging conditions for infrastructure loans. That is going to be reviewed. What is the kind of relaxation expected here, and how effective do you believe this measure will be?
I think, again, the hedging cost is a huge cost for any company which is borrowing through ECB, and especially whether it be, I'll specifically mention about NBFCs, because they have to hedge their entire borrowing, and especially if it is overseas borrowing. So therefore, the suggestion that we have been trying to make for many years to the RBI is that there can be a hedging mechanism which can be set up, and this is almost about 4 to 7% of cost, and this is an outgo by the Indian companies to the overseas banks. So RBI itself can create a mechanism to either RBI or Exim Bank to offer this hedging product to Indian corporates and Indian companies through either RBI or Exim Bank. So this money which is there can be kept with RBI or with Exim Bank. And again, this will not be a foreign exchange outflow, and it can be reduced. So the cost of borrowing also for Indian companies can substantially get reduced through the hedging cost, and the Indian companies would be in a position to also hedge their foreign exchange risks. So this is a simple mechanism, but I think that it requires a detailed deliberation by RBI and also a conscious decision to get it implemented.
Many thanks.